Hey everyone, this is Rivenblade reviewing AEW Dynamite for June 11th, 2021. This is the third Friday Night Dynamite show, as the show has been preempted by the NBA playoffs. And of the ones we've seen so far, I think this is by far the best. The fact that it was pre-taped probably had a lot to do with that, as everything moved smoothly. It was very tightly packed. And packed in general show. A lot was happening here. We had a lot of segments, a lot of wrestlers, and a lot of really good matches and good promos. So overall, I was very high on this episode of Dynamite. I think we kind of take for granted how good Dynamite is at its baseline. Like, I thought this was a baseline level Dynamite. This is kind of the type of show we have come to expect from AEW on a weekly basis. Just really solid wrestling, captivating promos, compelling characters, and just a show that moves. These 2 hours really flew by for me this week, and I was very happy at the end, especially after being disappointed the past 2 weeks. And honestly, I didn't even feel tired this week, like the last 2 weeks. I really felt the time, the starting at 10 p.m. Eastern time and ending at midnight over here. But this time I didn't. I just didn't pay attention to the clock at all because they didn't give me a chance to breathe. And the stuff that they were giving me was compelling and interesting and good and captivating. So I was really satisfied. And I felt like this episode was like eating a really filling meal at your favorite restaurant. So if you are an AEW fan already, you kind of know what to expect from Dynamite. And you are probably happy as I am with this episode. And if you're not, I mean, that's cool. So let's see if we agree on everything or disagree on some stuff, and that's A-okay. So we start off with the Pinnacle arriving at the building, and we see them step out of this limo. And I'm going to call this Chekhov's limo because it's going to come into play later on in the episode, as you know, if you've seen it. So there's some foreshadowing here. We haven't seen the Pinnacle since Double or Nothing. So they enter the building. We get the AEW Dynamite intro, which, by the way, still rules. And I like how they still incorporate new video, new images of very recent events into the intro so that it always feels fresh. So after the intro, we have Matt Hardy standing in the ring with Angelico and Jack Evans. You see the hard cam crowd over there. Obviously, those are some pro wrestlers, filling in that space. But it kind of adds to the visual. It makes it seem like it's an exciting, hot place to be. I know some people don't like the audio mixing on these pre-tape shows. Generally, I haven't been a fan of it either, but I think they've found the sweet spot now. I don't find it distracting when they do pipe in crowd noise, and I think that you can actually hear the commentary now, and you can hear it well, and I really enjoyed, actually, the amped up crowd noise, making everything seem a bit more exciting and consequential. So we got Matt Hardy talking about how Christian is jealous of him, how he's going to financially ruin him, and that Angelico is going to take him out. And what I appreciated about this segment is that they did a little recap of how we got to this point. So I remembered that last week, obviously, Matt Hardy took out Christian on the stage. I think he did a twist of fate on him, or a side effect. I can't recall. I think it was a twist of fate anyway. But before that, it was Christian who had eliminated Matt Hardy from the Casino Battle Royale. And because I don't remember every elimination in a Battle Royal, that kind of clicked with me, and I said, oh yeah, that happened. Okay, that's how this whole thing started. So it's very logical that, Matt Hardy would be pissed off at Christian and be targeting him now and trying to take him out after he took out Matt Hardy's chance of getting an AEW title shot. There was a little production error where you can see in this image, they kind of put up the words last week a little early. So you can see Christian and Jungle Boy holding up, each other's hands there. And that's from Double or Nothing, not from last week. Anyway, the match, Christian versus Angelico. So I really enjoyed this match. Angelico worked Christian's left arm for the entire match. Christian kept fighting back, and he was using more like meat and potatoes wrestling, trying to, use punches and kicks and things like this, and just trying to survive. Now, this is honestly like kind of a formula that Christian has in his matches, but for some reason it worked a lot better for me here than it has in his prior ones. This one felt like it moved at a faster pace, and maybe that's just Christian's cardio, like catching up finally. No disrespect to Christian, he's in way better shape than I will ever be at his age. But anyway, the match moved really smoothly, really quickly. I really liked their chemistry together. I liked the targeting of a body part by Angelico. You know, that's just pro wrestling 101. That's what you do. So again, it was the submission specialist against kind of like the meat and potatoes guy. And there were many times when, you know, Angelico was trying to lock something in, Christian would escape, and he would hit Angelico with moves too, of course. And when you got to a certain point in the match, Christian hit a diving headbutt. And I still don't like seeing this move. And obviously Tony Schiavone and JR also weren't too thrilled to see this move. Schiavone pointed out twice that it's a move that does as much damage to the opponent as it does to the person hitting it. And JR also said, yeah, it's like a very controversial move. I think that's the word he used. So I'm not a fan of it, but in the context of the match, the idea was that Christian was trying to work on Angelico's head or shoulder area to kind of like soften him up for the kill switch. So when I looked at it from that perspective, I was like, okay, logically it makes sense in the match. Whether or not it's worth it, you know, as a career move, especially for a guy who's had, you know, concussions and everything like that, I would rather him not use that move. And actually, this kind of targeting of Angelico's head played into the finish, because at one point they also knocked into each other. And, you know, the commentary mentioned that they hit each other's heads. And Christian followed that up with another move, kicking, I think it was a kick to Angelico's head. And then he finished it off by hitting the kill switch and getting the 1, 2, 3. So I really liked this match. It was just a solid meat and potatoes wrestling match. This is kind of, you know, par for the course, like a baseline wrestling match. If you watch wrestling, this is good. I don't know how else to say it, really. So I've kind of come to expect this level of quality from AEW, and I was happy to, you know, see it met. The other thing, this is the best Christian has looked in AEW to me. And part of the reason for that is it feels like he actually has something to latch onto now with this like Matt Hardy feud. So hopefully he can sink his teeth into it, and he can start to warm up as a character, because I have found that he has felt really cold until now. But this was the first night where I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to root for this guy. I don't want Matt Hardy to take him out. Like, Matt Hardy's a big jerk. So I really liked, you know, Christian in this match. After the match, Hardy does hit Christian with the twist of fate. Jack Evans, you know, helps as well. And there he is celebrating. I gotta say, I really enjoy this version of Matt Hardy. So he's very cocky, very arrogant, kind of just delusional as well with how much money he has and everything. So after that, we had Jungle Boy come in the post-match. And just as Matt Hardy was about to hit another twist of fate, I believe, Jungle Boy came to his rescue. And this continues kind of the mutual respect that Jungle Boy has with Christian. I think this gives a rub to Jungle Boy, and it also gives a rub to Christian, as, you know, this very popular young talent who the fans are familiar with is being associated with this guy who is a veteran, but who is still new to AEW. So they're kind of like feeding off each other, and I think they're going to end up elevating each other if they keep this up. So good opening match. Very good. Next, we got a bunch of announcements. So July is going to be very busy for AEW. July 17th, Road Rager. Now, what I'm happy about here is that they didn't have to throw away the Bash at the Beach graphics that they used last year. I thought those were fantastic and beautiful, and I'm happy they're going to get to reuse them and just, you know, change the name to Road Rager, which is whatever as a name. It doesn't matter. I'm just happy they're using the visuals, and it's going to make the show stand out and set it apart from a standard Dynamite. Then they're moving on to Fyter Fest, Night 1, Night 2 in Texas, and then Fight for the Fallen at the end of July in North Carolina. So, yeah, a lot of themed shows, and I think AEW really wants to kick off, you know, going back on the road in a big way and to make it feel special. And what better way to make it feel special than to have a bunch of, like, themed shows back to back to back to back. So, however you feel about that, I don't know. Let me know. But I'm pretty excited about it. Next up, we had the Cody segment. So we had Tony Schiavone come out, saying that there's going to be a tag match. He introduces Cody, and then he introduces Brock Anderson. So obviously, this is Anderson's son. I didn't know what he was thinking with this kind of country club attire that he was wearing here. I want to be nice to the guy because I haven't seen anything from him, but when QT came out and said, this is another classic example of Rhodes nepotism, it was hard to disagree with him. There are many people, such as Tay Conti, for example, who hasn't been on Dynamite since that fantastic match with Shida, who could be taking up, time on AEW Dynamite instead. But over here, we're introducing a totally green wrestler and throwing him into a Dynamite match next week. I'm kind of curious to see what he does. I wish him well. I don't know him, but we'll see how it goes. But in this segment, at one point, QT Marshall hit, Arn Anderson in the back, and then his son came to his defense, took down QT, started wailing on him. The work punches looked decent, I thought. So, I don't know. I'm kind of over this Nightmare Factory storyline. It does feel like, many people have said it feels disconnected from the body of the rest of the show. So there is kind of like a Codyverse effect happening here. And like I mentioned before, like I still really like Cody. I think that he needs to be doing something else because I don't know if he's actually elevating anyone or if anyone is being elevated in the storyline, which was the intention. I think Anthony Ogogo is a little bit. But Aaron Solo, and Nick Comoroto, I feel like the fans' perception of them is probably similar to what it was a month and a half ago. So, I don't know. I hope they kind of fast forward to the finish line with this one. This segment was fine. It was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was fine. And we'll see what Brock Anderson can bring to the table next week. Next, this match ruled. The 6-man tag between Eddie Kingston, Penta, Pac versus the Young Bucks, and Brandon Cutler. I love the way, it makes me sound like a sadomasochist or something. Like I love the way the Young Bucks abuse Brandon Cutler, but they kind of use him as fodder in their matches. They kind of like force tag him in and allow him to take all the damage. And Cutler, you know what? He did great in this match for what his character is. He looks ridiculous in the face shield, the tracksuit, and his physical charisma was really good in this match. Like, when he was getting knocked about, the facial expressions were there showing pain. And one of my favorite parts of this match actually was, after Pac had been knocking on Cutler for a good while, he just tossed him into the corner, into the Bucks corner. And he told him, he was looking at, I think it was Matt Jackson, and kind of like telling him to come in and tag in. Even though he could have continued beating up Brandon Cutler, probably gotten a pin, it made Pac look like a total badass to kind of just toss this guy, say, I'm done with you, who's next? So I really enjoyed that part of the match. Now, of course, a big part of this match was also, will they, won't they? Eddie Kingston and Pac, can they coexist? Can they work together? And it was done really well. It was told in the body of the match. Pac tagged himself in when Eddie had control of one of his opponents, and Eddie wasn't too pleased. But they didn't actually do the thing where they get annoyed with each other and they can't coexist. Eddie ended up like really cheering on Pac at one point, saying, "Come on, we got these guys down, down below the ring. Let's go. Let's dive on him." And wouldn't you know? Yeah, here he goes. He's like, "Come on, let's work together." So you see the Bucks there down in the lower part of the ring on the floor. And they did the double dive and they worked together. And in the end, Eddie hit his finisher and his team won. They won the match. It was a really fun, spectacular video game type match where it felt like everyone was on special the entire time. So this is the kind of like spot fest tag match that I've come to expect from AEW. But there was so much storytelling happening throughout it. The stuff with Eddie and Pac and the stuff with the Bucks and Cutler. You can see that there was tension. And I think, a good wrestling match needs a good amount of tension and you need to feel that things are moving and working against each other. And I felt that on multiple levels from multiple characters in this match. So I really enjoyed it. I thought this match was really good. All right, the match ends. Okay, so at the end of the match, we had Anderson and Gallows come in, and they attacked, Eddie and Penta and Pac right away. And just as it looked like they were getting the advantage, Super Kaz comes in and clears the ring, or Kaz the Elite Hunter. I really like this character. So he took out Michael Nakazawa. Now he has taken out Brandon Cutler, although Cutler just kind of got knocked to the outside the ring. But I really like what he's doing here. He's kind of like a mercenary on the outside, and he's doing his thing. So I'm really excited to see where they go with this and where he's going to end up. Yeah, there he is, taking out Brandon Cutler. Look at Eddie smiling while he does that. That was so much fun. Next, we get this amazing segment of the conspiracy, as Don Callis calls it. So he did a very well-edited video of Double or Nothing, of the Triple Threat match, directed by Michael Kurosawa. And he put some pretty clever, funny subtitles to certain segments of the match. So here he is, putting the subtitle on the ref saying, "I just want Kenny to lose the belt." All right, like that. This is what the ref is saying. I see the people with the middle fingers there. Some kids there too. Oh, look at them. Those parents, they're raising them kind of right or wrong. I don't know. Anyway, and then, during the match, fans were actually chanting, "F you, Don." And here they edited to say, "Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don." And it was just really, really funny, kind of like a propaganda film by Callis and Kenny, saying that there's a conspiracy to try and take the belt off of Kenny, that the refs were in on it and everything like that. I thought it was brilliant. It was just really well done. And if you get a chance to go out of your way to catch this one, I really recommend it. When the show is this packed and you have so many quality segments, it's so easy for stuff to get lost in the shuffle. And this is one of those things where I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle because it's short and it's brilliant. I really liked it. Next, we had the Pinnacle finally come out. They all cut promos, so we're going to get FTR versus Santana and Ortiz at some point. Sean Spears talked to the camera, talked about Sammy and how, why do people think you're a hero? Is it because you do all this like indie wrestling stuff? He's like, I am a hero. I am a hero. And he was a little unhinged, and, the rest of the Pinnacle had to kind of like pull him back. So I really like this character for Spears. And then we had, there he is. See me pausing stuff there. And Wardlow. I love this shirt. I just really wanted to capture this because his shirt is fantastic for the type of big man monster that he is. He accepts Jake Hager's challenge. Next week, we're going to get that MMA cage match between him and Hager. So I'm curious to see how they do that and whether or not they're going to set the cage up like around the AEW ring and how the timing of that is going to work as well. So this segment ends with going to the back with the Inner Circle busting up the Pinnacle's limo. Now, I love this. I know that, some people say, oh, this is just like Attitude Era stuff, and it absolutely is. But I thought, Jake Hager coming in and just forking the limo, lifting it up, utterly demolishing it, was really entertaining. Like I laughed, I grinned. I was like, just happy as a pig in poop for this one. So I was really happy to see this. I'm not in love with the Inner Circle, but I thought that this kind of made them come across as just fun, juvenile kind of act. And they spray painted El Barto, a nod to The Simpsons, on the limo too. So this was just a fun, destructive segment. So give me more vehicle destruction, AEW. Although, it's been said, and I kind of agree, every time I see one of these segments where something expensive or what I think is expensive gets destroyed, I wonder, how much money does Tony Khan actually have? Like, how can he afford to be doing this stuff? So hopefully that's a question that, we never see answered, and AEW goes on for a long, long time, because I want them to. I really love this stuff. All right, so Sting and Darby. Darby tells Sting to stay home. He doesn't want him to interfere. I thought we were going to get another tag partner for Darby, but it looks like Darby wants to be the wild man and take on, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky by himself. there was an unease to their interaction here. And, you know, Darby's kind of saying, and now I think he's thinking that, you know, people think of me, they think of you, that, you know, you kind of made me in a way. And Sting says, you know, you were TNT champion before I got here. Like, everything you did because you're Darby. And I like that, you know. So at the end, you had like Sting putting up a fist bump and Darby really being hesitant to give him the fist bump back. And, you know, Sting agrees to say, okay, I'm going to stay home. If this is what you really want, I'm going to stay home and you can fight those guys by yourself. So I'm curious to see if this leads to the eventual Sting and Darby singles match. I think that's where we're going, maybe at some point. But for now, I really liked the segment. I liked how uncomfortable it felt. It felt like a real conversation. Next, oh man, Evil Uno. This video package, it was on Row 2 as well, so they kind of like reused the best bits of it. Talks about his 17-year journey. He talks about wanting to make Brody Lee proud. He talks about how, you know, he's been in this industry for 17 years and how he's going to take the belt off Miro and show him how devious he can really be. I loved the pre-tape stuff for this. I thought it was really compelling, captivating. I know I use those words a lot, but it really was, and it made me root for this guy. And then you had Miro, you know, he's in this video package too, and he looks tremendous right now, and I can't wait to see what he does next in AEW and what he continues doing here. The match itself was really good. I was surprised by kind of Uno's athleticism, although I'd seen it before. Like, he does a swanton, you know, off the apron to the outside at one point. He does one in the ring at one point. He's got a good arsenal, and I thought him and Miro had like a good back and forth, trading moves. Everything looked smooth, like it was kind of like a botch-free match, and it was exciting. And I didn't really buy that Uno ever really had a chance. At one point, Alan Angels came out, you know, tried to interfere with the match. Miro scared him off, and you thought, okay, I guess that's the end of the Dark Order's interference. But later in the match, this is where I literally teared up a little bit as the entire Dark Order came out and was rooting for Evil Uno, you know, showing him that his family is behind him, pulling for him, cheering for him to beat Miro and bring back the TNT championship to the Dark Order, you know, to make Mr. Brody Lee proud. And, you know, when you had -1 down there too, it was just a beautiful moment, honestly. In the end, though, Evil Uno tapped. Of course, you know, Miro was going to put on the accolade and defeat him. But this was such an entertaining match, such a good babyface making moment for Evil Uno. And the Dark Order continues to get over, even in defeat. Like, I really like these guys. They feel like a family. They're very supportive of one another. And just showing it here as they come to, you know, to the ringside, I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was like a nice, heartfelt, feel-good moment. So that was great. And Miro just, man, I don't know who's going to take the title off him eventually. Maybe Jungle Boy, who knows? But whoever it is, like, they're going to be made for a long time, because right now it looks like nobody can stop Miro. And I love what he's doing. I love his promo work. I love his in-ring work, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Next, this was kind of funny because you had Excalibur mention, okay, we're going to look at Andrade El Idolo and see what he has to say, or kind of like see what he's all about. And all it is like a pre-tape of Andrade just getting dressed in his fancy clothes with no dialogue at all. So anyway, Andrade El Idolo, face of Latinos. That's kind of the identity he's going for in AEW. Next week, he's going to have a sit-down with Jim Ross. I'm curious to see what he has to say and how that's going to work. I think he looks like a star. Like, this guy looks like $1 million. And I think all it's going to take is one match for people who are doubters to see that, holy cow, this is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Where has he been hiding? Why haven't we been seeing him on, like, you know, a bigger scale? So, yeah. I'm really curious to see Andrade El Idolo. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water at this point. Hold on. Okay, so continuing on, we had Kenny Omega, Don Callis come to the ring. They kind of like talk about their upcoming match with Jungle Boy, the conspiracy. and how there's, people are against Kenny and everything like this. Kenny got really wound up, and he called Jungle Boy a one-hit wonder, just like his theme song. And the only thing Jungle Boy said was, you talk way too much. So that was a gift to Botchamania. No doubt we'll be seeing that on there sometime soon. But that's all Jungle Boy had to do. So at the end of this segment, it breaks down, and Jungle Boy gets a bit of an advantage, and he teases putting on the snare trap just before the Young Bucks run down and save Kenny Omega. So this is all just wrestling storytelling 101. You tease the babyface challenger just about to beat, or maybe put the heel champion in trouble, and then kind of the heel's friends come down to save him. But now that doubt is there. Okay, so if Jungle Boy gets the snare trap on Kenny Omega, what's gonna happen? I really just loved it. It was simple, it was easy, and Kenny sounded awesome on the mic. Like, I'm kind of hit or miss with some of his promos, but I thought he was very confident, he was fluid, the flow was there, and he just sounded incredibly confident, and I never get tired of his shirts. So keep wearing those shirts, Kenny. Next, Jade Cargill and her lawyer. He talks about how, he wants Jade to be not just a wrestling superstar, but a star across all platforms and film and everything. And he's like, we're going to get that catchphrase over. And then he kind of goes with, what's that catchphrase again? And Jade Cargill ends it with, I'm that B word. And I mean, I don't know where this is going. It was a good segment. I'm trying to remember the lawyer's name. Mark Sterling, right? And he was really good. He comes across the camera. He kind of grabs you. But I don't know where Jade is going to go with this. Are they going to have her, show her in pre-tapes doing movies or doing magazine shoots or what? But they're trying to make her a household name. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And that they're trying to expand her beyond wrestling. Next up, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page reacting to Darby, calling him a fool. And they kind of get over a new catchphrase. It's only up from here for the Men of the Year at the end. I really love these guys. I've turned the corner on them. As of Double or Nothing, they've really won me over. And I think, Sting and Darby have a lot to do with that. I wasn't a big fan of them, being paired together initially. I thought Scorpio Sky deserved a little bit better in terms of a singles capacity. But right now, these guys are making me laugh. Ethan Page's facial expressions and Scorpio Sky's seriousness mixed with like a bit of a devil's grin from time to time. It's working for me, and I can't wait to see what these guys do next. Men of the Year, great name. Their theme is a banger, and it's only up from here for the Men of the Year. That's, I think that's true. Next, Lance Archer squash. It was good. It was fast. It was painful. It delivered. Next. We had a promo with the Wingmen calling Orange Cassidy the worst dressed guy in AEW, and that they want to give him a makeover. And Cesar Bononi says he's going to wreck his face. I can't remember the phrasing exactly. You can scream at me in the comments for that. So these guys, they challenge Orange Cassidy to a match, and they say, oh, that's right, we want to rearrange your wardrobe, and if you don't accept that, then Cesar Bononi says he's going to rearrange his face. So that sets up a match between Bononi and Orange Cassidy next week. This kind of odd pairing of these four guys, it's working for me. I wasn't a fan of Ryan Nemeth when he first came to AEW. I thought his spot should have been taken by someone else already within the company. But he's making it work. And these four guys, they are much stronger together than they are apart. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that match. We'll see what happens. Okay, Nyla Rose and Leyla Hirsch. I loved this match. I really did. Leyla is just so snug with her stuff. She gets across her power, like her core strength really well. She did a German on Nyla at one point in this match that looked fabulous. It was just a really slobber knocker of a match, and I loved it. This is one of the, in recent memory, thinking back to Shida and Tay Conti, one of the better women's matches I can recall in AEW in the last month or so. So yeah, go out of your way and see this one, because Nyla delivers. Like, however you feel about her, the way they use her, her run as champion and her being in the title picture again, she delivers on the stage, and she continues to deliver. Avalanche Beast Bomb to finish this one. Beautiful match. I really liked this, and this is kind of what I've come to expect from AEW and the women's division. Just give me more of it. Like, once Rampage comes, I better see another women's match on every single Rampage in that 1 hour that you give, your competitors, because these women can work. And please stop calling them ladies and girls, because you're not going around calling like the men's division like boys and gentlemen. So just give them respect and just treat them as the amazing competitors that they are. Leyla Hirsch for Team Taz. I'm going to die on that hill. So make it happen. Make it happen. All right. So we got Tony Schiavone interviewing Britt Baker and Reba. And, I took some snapshots of this because the facial expressions on Reba are just tremendous. Look at that. So Britt goes on about, how she's going to, set off a new era, and how, she understands why Nyla, interrupted her last week, that the belt made Nyla, and that Britt's going to make the belt. Here we have Reba dancing, and it was just a great segment. She talks about all the jealous bees in the back, and there's something about Britt Baker. She has something. She is very compelling. I want to watch her do and say whatever, any segment she's in. I want to see it because she grabs you through the screen. So I'm really curious to see where this goes, and the belt looks really nice on her. All right, so we get, some more facial expressions, and DMD to end things off there. Main event time. Okay. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. Brian Cage, Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm going to miss seeing these two guys side by side. I feel like we didn't see it often enough, honestly, as part of Team Taz. Because as a tag team, these are just, you can call these guys the Beef Boys, right? Like, so these are the Beef Boys, and they are wonderful together. They just wreck their opponents. And this match, just enjoy this picture, guys, because this is probably the last time you're going to see it ever, or maybe for a while, with these two guys together in a tag team. Really strong match against Hangman Page and 10 from the Dark Order. I thought they did a lot here to get over 10 as a legit competitor. He's looked really great. He looked good in his TNT title match with Darby. And once again, Ricky Starks comes in, throws in the belt at one point to Brian Cage. Brian Cage throws it out of the ring, and then Ricky Starks, how can he slap? He slaps Cage across the face. So disappointed in him. Taz is on commentary saying, he deserved it. He deserved it. And Cage follows him to the back, which of course leaves, Hobbs all alone. Buckshot lariat hit. And 10 actually gets the pin in this one and gets the win. And this is great. It gives, 10 a rub. It keeps Hangman strong. It furthers the dissension between Team Taz, which now I think is just full-blown done. Going by the Twitter responses, Taz said, you will never throw the FTW belt again. So I think they're done. I think we're heading to Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage eventually whenever, Ricky Starks' neck heals up. And I'm going to miss this version of Team Taz. Like, I love these guys together. They look like just the Beef Boys. I'm going to miss the Beef Boys, guys. So overall, we had a celebration. This was a great way to end the show. Dark Order comes out. Hangman, 10. They celebrate with beers. Everyone has beers. Commentary is, quick to point out that, except for -1, he has water. And they celebrate to end the show, ending it on a high. So it was a very positive feeling to end things off. So yeah, that was Dynamite this week. A really fun show. Like, I'm so happy with this show. I can't wait to see what happens next. Darby, how is he going to fare against, the Men of the Year all by himself? Where does Team Taz go from here? I mean, we know where they're going to go from here, but that match in a couple weeks with Jungle Boy and Kenny, there's just so much to be excited about. I know some people, I saw some people online saying that, this was kind of like a holding pattern episode, but I disagree. I think there's like a lot that happened here, a lot of significant events that moved things forward, that kind of like turned the wheels. So if Dynamite is this good every week, if this is the baseline, I'm happy. I'm happy. So honestly, though, I can't wait for these Friday Night Dynamites to be over. It feels like they've been on for 6 months, even though it's only been 3 weeks. But if next week's is as good as this one, I'm not going to complain, honestly, because this was a really good show. So, till next time, thanks, everybody. Give me a like, give me a sub. Tell your friends, why not? Tell them, say, hey, this guy actually has some things to say about Dynamite that are pretty cool, right? No? Maybe? Whatever. Anyway, take it easy. Bye.